Hello everybody, welcome to today's live stream. Let's get right into it. So, a lot of high potential energy today on Bitcoin. Let me point out the previous time we got today's reading. Here, right, when every value is below 0.7, excuse me, when every value is below 0.7 on Wave PM, right, and that happens somewhat frequently. We get it every now and then. For instance, we got one here. This was pretty significant, and we're actually getting the exact same thing here. So what happens during periods of extreme compression? And let's find, like, maybe one more just to prove a point. Yeah, that technically counts. We can put a circle there, and one more. Why not? Here's one. Every value below 0.9, or 7, excuse me. So what happens when every value is below 0.7? Let's talk about it. Well, we were here is one example, right? So every value is below 0.7 here. We are in a compression range. What happens? Price sees a very drastic 6% move in a single candle on the hourly chart. Goodness, that's pretty extreme. So what happens next time? Over here, we have every value below 0.9. What happens? We had a long-term range, or at least long-term for the 1 hour chart, right there, broken for the final upward push of mean reversion, which resulted in a 3.5% move. It's pretty significant. Next up, I guess we could technically consider, oops, it's close. This is comprehensive net expansion because everything is expanding in the same direction from a place of relative compression. But we're just doing textbook examples right now. Although, to be honest, this is kind of more convincing because we do have significant slope on the 150 periods as well. And then when the 14 period finally crosses here, that did result in pretty significant trend to the downside for the most recent downward expansion that we saw there. And then, of course, all the way over here, well, our most recent and drastic example where he had comprehensive net expansion of the 100, 250 periods and 14 period all at the same time, which resulted in a 6% move in a single candle. So what are we seeing currently? Right? We have a significant compression range, right, which has compressed and fulfilled. All the mean reversion conditions are complete. So what do we have now? We have high potential energy, right? Oh, I don't think I changed the thumbnail for this video. Oh well. I'll do it afterwards. Anyway, we had high potential energy, right? And if you have high potential energy in a compression range with no implied direction, it's a pretty bad idea to be in a position. What you can do is enter a stop market position above the swing high and the swing low of the range, which is pretty risky, and you have to babysit the shit out of that. But it's a good idea. So you can put a stop market entry when, say, your 14 period goes below. This might take some tweaking on period length. Maybe 25 period would do it. So like a 25 period CCI, if it goes below the negative 100 value, you'll enter a short, or if it goes above the 100 value, you'll enter a long. And that's really rudimentary for just position entries. Of course, your best bet is just to sit and watch and wait for, you know, some kind of expansion to actually occur. But of course, not everyone can be that lucky. So that's potentially one way to enter a trade. Just set alerts on one of those two things, and you know, should eventually get pretty significant move, and it should run, right? So you have high potential energy. What happens? If you have high potential energy and you apply a lot of force, you typically get a sizable move of at least 5 or 6% on this time frame. So we might see a significant spike upward tonight, or we might see a significant spike downward tonight. And just from what we've been seeing all the way over here, I got some news for you folks. We've had repeated successive lower lows, or lower highs, excuse me, over and over and over and over again with a static bottom. Right, it's pretty stereotypical breakout pattern. It's just a restoration of potential energy on a larger time frame, and that's pretty cool. However, it's better to imply that structures will maintain rather than betting that they'll break if you have neutral positioning and high potential energy. So if you have high potential energy right here, it's better to bet that you'll spike immediately down, and then we'll see another compression range down here, than it is to bet that, oh, range is over, here we go, bull time, right? It's better to bet that you will maintain the status quo than you'll immediately see trend resumption after a 3-month-long compressionary period. Like, I hope that makes sense. So we should just get some lateral trading, sideways movement. It'll be joyous and fun. Excuse me. Allergy meds make me drowsy. Anyway. We're going, that's it. That's all I want to say. Yeah, I think we'll spike downward tonight. At least that's logical. Or we could spike upward, but I think downward is slightly more likely than upward, okay? With that in mind, don't over leverage during periods of high volatility. And I am predicting that we're going to get a high period of volatility very, very soon. So as soon as this range breaks, actually, you know what we could even do? Because we have the compression range defined here. If we go below the compression range on this bottom leg, you could just set up a stop market short at 10,250. Or you could short now if you feel like just setting a stop loss for the swing high. That's reasonable as well. So I guess I'm short-term bearish on Bitcoin, but it's kind of risky. So I'm not going to use any leverage, and it's just going to be like me tethering out for a brief bit and then buying back in with a stop market order if we spike upward. Although, to be honest, that's a pretty bad idea too. If I want to enter along in this market condition, I am going to do so on the swing low, not on the upward expansion. And if I were to buy an upward spiking candle, I would do so manually, not automatically. I would automatically enter a short using API, but I would not automatically enter a long via API, if that makes sense. Right? Why? Because maintaining the status quo, hooray, right? So I would actually anticipate us retesting these lower low values, 9,300. Of course, if we have an upward break, well, we could see upward trend because of the high potential energy. I just think it's less likely than a downward break. Okay, that's about it for today. It has been a pleasure. I will see you all tomorrow at 1 p.m. MST on time because my migraines are mostly gone, which is a godsend, really. I am very happy that we exited that 3.5 day long migraine. It was a nightmare. Anyway, it has been a pleasure talking with you folks. For all you premium subscribers, I should have a call for you tonight. Thank you for your patience. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.